What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sunday Sports Club Podcast, a podcast all about sports told by a woman, and that woman is me. Hi, guys. I'm Allison Kuch, and today we are talking about tennis, okay? I grew up taking tennis lessons, but only because my mom wanted to golf. So she decided to put me in swimming and tennis and golf. And I'm really excited to talk all things tennis because I feel like I see so many people in the content space going to tennis matches. I see all the girlfriends, the wives. I'm like, wow, they're hot. Like, I did not wear that to a football game. Today we have a special guest, Ayan. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
How are you doing today?
Great.
Good.
It's so good being back in California. I love it here. So I'm just feeling like I'm at home.
Where are you living right now?
We just moved a year ago to Boca Raton, Florida. So it's very chill and relaxed, but I love every time I get to LAX, I just feel rejuvenated. I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
You feel rejuvenated at LAX?
Every single time. I don't know if it's the air or I don't know. I love it here, and I always stop at In-N-Out, so that just gets me going.
The In-N-Out right next to the airport. Whenever I go on an international trip, I'm just like, I just need like the greasy, like, give me In-N-Out.
It's the spread, I think, for me.
Oh, the spread.
You know what I'm saying?
I think, is it just like Thousand Island?
Don't tell me that. Is it actually?
I think it is. Yes. But
okay.
Somebody listening to this is like, no, you're like, Allie's wrong. No. It's different. It's different because they make it different.
Let's just say it's different because I can't imagine that's what it is.
Yeah.
Thousand Island.
Right? Like on a burger?
I think it's a special sauce.
Yeah.
Let's just keep that in the head.
Special sauce.
Okay.
Can I get some more extra special sauce, please? Okay. So you are deep in the tennis space.
Deep.
Both like your personal relationship, you. So can you kind of introduce yourself and talk a little bit about how you got to where you're at today?
Yeah. So I have been playing tennis for over 20 years. I'm actually Canadian, born and raised in Toronto, Canada. And my father taught my sister and I tennis from a young age. We played junior tennis all throughout my junior career. And when I tried to make a decision between going pro or to school, I actually got injured. I tore my shoulder. So my parents were like, you're going to school. So we started doing our research. I went to Clemson University on a women's tennis scholarship for about 2 years. And then I transferred. I wanted something different. And I transferred to UCLA, which was the best decision of my life. Mm-hmm. I played there for about 2 years. I won a national championship there, had the time of my life, played a little bit of pro after. And obviously, I've been with my significant other. He's a professional tennis player, and we were together since before college. So after I started traveling a little bit, And I'm just in all things tennis. Now I have a tennis foundation. I do some tennis modeling. I've done, some tennis scenes in movies. So I'm just kind of all over the place.
Actress, model, tennis player, like you do it all.
All the things. All the things, yeah.
That's so impressive. How did you meet your boyfriend then?
Oh boy. We both play junior tennis, and the tennis world is so small. Everyone knows each other.
Right.
So we knew each other, and we had a mutual friend that thought that we would hit it off. And she kind of like peeped in his ear, like, I think you should talk to Ayan and see what's going on there. And he did. We became friends for about 6 months, talking every single day, FaceTiming all the time. And then we met up in New York one year. He actually came. My parents were really strict. So the first time we met up, my mom was like, if you want to meet up, he can come to the family house. My mom was there. My dad was there. My grandma was there. My grandpa was there. My uncle was there.
You met the whole family.
The entire family the first time. And they were all upstairs. And at 9 p.m., my mom came downstairs and was like, Ayan, time to go. Wrap it up.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we just had a great time. We were just chit-chatting. A couple days later, he asked me out, and we've been together ever since.
Wow. That is impressive. So where was he living at that time?
Good question. I think this is when he was still living with his parents. I think he was still home in Maryland. That's where he's from.
Wow.
So yeah, he was going back to Maryland.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Long distance relationship, and like you guys were living in two totally different areas.
It was crazy. I think it was about a year before I went to college. So when I did go to school, it became a little bit easier, but he was on the pro circuit, or like the challenger circuit. I don't know if you've seen that movie Challengers.
Yes.
With Zendaya. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's actually, that movie was actually pretty realistic. So you start with futures, which is like the lowest level. Then you go to a challenger level. And that's where he was at that time.
Okay.
He was just transitioning from juniors to pro. So he would play a tournament on the weekend. If he lost, he would like come to Clemson, drive to Clemson or fly to Clemson, come spend the weekend with me, and then go to another tournament, go to another challenger tournament. And that's,
So
yeah.
he was like doing multiple world tours. He's like, okay, like tennis, but also my girlfriend.
Yes.
And I'm like going all around.
He was doing all the things.
Do you like the fact that you both play tennis?
Yes and no. I think it's great. No, because
You're like, absolutely not.
I think it was good because we both understand the dynamic of the tennis
Right.
tour. I understand the stressors. I understand, what he needs kind of from a mental and, like a physical standpoint.
Right.
So I get it. But on the other hand, I feel like sometimes I know too much. And it's like, let's stop talking about
Are you
tennis.
ever like backseat driving? Like, oh, like what about trying this? And he's like, absolutely, like no.
Yes.
It's kind of like no talking about work in the bedroom. Like, you can't correct certain things, right?
That's what we had to figure out because a lot of the times we were talking tennis nonstop, and it's like, okay, what do we want to talk about outside of tennis? Like, what are our hobbies? What are our interests
Right.
outside of this game? And it's great to be able to break it down and talk about, okay, you're playing this person, we're watching film at night, we're both like nitpicking little things. And it's great because it's like, who else could you do that with, right? But at the same time, like, we need other hobbies. Let's figure something else out.
I briefly remember like my husband bringing home his little tablet and like watching film of football games. And I'm like, oh, you should try just like tackling him. He's like,
Just do that.
he's like, you make that sound easy.
Right.
Like it's literally like, it's really not that hard. But it is interesting because like you guys just both know the intricacies of tennis and like how it works. So while there are like pros and cons to it, I feel like a huge pro is that you understand like everything mental that goes into that sport.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely incredible for me when Frances came to my college matches because I had an amazing head coach at Clemson. Her name was Nancy Harris, and she knew that I really liked Frances's feedback. So she would like work with Frances. They would be coaching me together on the court.
You're like, no.
Like, yes.
My thing, this might be a me problem. This is probably a red flag. But I'm like, if anybody gives me the same piece of advice that my husband gives me, I take it like it's better received from somebody else.
Actually, I really value his input.
Okay.
I think
I'm just I'm a horrible wife. Okay.
I understand what you're saying. And I think everything off court, I'm like, I'd rather hear from anyone else.
Yeah. Okay.
But on court, I'm like, okay, this is an expert in his field. There's a reason why he's at the top of his game. What do you see and how can you help me? So I remember him coming to like my ACC championships and I had the best tournament of my life. He was coaching the entire time. He would like go from one side or to the other side of the court and he's like, Ayan, like do this, do that. And it was working because he just knows. And yeah, no, it was very, very helpful for me. I don't know if it's very helpful the other way around. Yeah, exactly. But for me, I loved it.
Okay. And I feel like he's probably like, oh, like this is so fun for me. And it can be like a fun experience, like doing
Of course.
that, right?
I mean, he's invested. He wants to see me do well. So he's trying to give me all the feedback as possible that he can. And I think, people that are at the highest level of their sport, they love to share wisdom.
Yes. Yeah.
And when it works, they feel even better. So
no, yeah, especially when it works. When it doesn't work, they're like, why are you listening to me?
Right.
Okay, so let's take you back to, you mentioned like either going to college or not going to college. Is that a common decision when it comes to tennis and like playing professionally?
Yeah, so I believe you can turn pro at 14.
Whoa.
Yes, it's kind of similar to gymnastics where you turn pro really early
okay.
Historically, you've turned pro really early. And it's changed now because of college. But before, it was kind of like if you didn't turn pro early or you didn't go straight into the professional tennis realm, you weren't going to be a professional.
We're like a step back.
This is it.
Okay.
And so it's kind of looked down upon.
Right.
So that's why I was really, really disappointed when I wasn't turning pro right away because I'm like, oh, this isn't going to happen for me.
Yep.
And I was a little bit in that era where, college tennis was starting to pick up again. There were a lot of college tennis players that played through school and then turned pro after.
Right.
But in the moment, it definitely felt like pro tennis was out of the picture for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting to hear all of the, like comparing all these different sports. Like you can't even go to the NFL without some sort of college. Right. But then like the MLB is totally different, NHL. And so it's interesting hearing that like at 14, you're making a decision like, oh, I'm not going to go to, I'm like, you have 4 years before you even had to go to college. Yeah. But it's so interesting. So then when you decided to go to college, how was getting recruited as a D1 athlete?
Yeah, well, my goal was always to play pro. So I was playing, the international level tournaments. I was going with the Canadian Federation a lot for events. So I was kind of at the highest level in Canada.
Right.
And then there are these 3 huge junior tennis tournaments. It's Orange Bowl, Eddie Herr, and what was the third one? I think it was called Prince Cup. And these were 3 events in Florida. And these were like the top level. People are coming from all over the world to compete.
Right.
And that's, where it's your time to shine. You need to perform at those tournaments because all of the college scouts and college recruits are there.
Right.
So I remember playing that event. And one thing about me, I'm so competitive. Like I'm super uber competitive. And I was like, you know what? This is my time to shine. I'm going to, compete my butt off and get these scholarship offers. So I remember having a really amazing tournament. I had some really competitive matches and there were scouts all along the side of the court, like 50 scouts. And I put on a show.
Absolutely. No. Like the idea of like scouts like watching your every move stresses me out.
It's a good and bad thing. I think if you're the type of person that can rise to the occasion, it's perfect. Because everyone's there at for your one match.
Right.
And if you can perform, you're going to get all these offers, which happened to be my case. So I remember—
You're like, I know how to put on a show.
Okay. No, I went home and I had like 150 offers right then and there that next week. Yeah. And I had like a couple months to go to school. So I had to make a decision really quickly.
Yeah.
And Clemson at the time had the #1 doubles team and the #1 singles player in the country. And I said, you know what? That's a sign the coaches or the staff or the athletic departments, they're doing something right.
They're doing something. Yeah.
Right.
Was it more, so did you decide on your college more so based off like the tennis and what they were accomplishing or had the ability to accomplish? Did you put any like, okay, that's like a drop in the bucket because it's somewhere warm, or like, I mean, any decision that goes into like a college?
This is the one thing that I do regret, to be honest. I picked this school based on the fact that I said, because so in tennis, you can turn pro after, I think you only need to do a year and then you can leave.
Okay.
So in my head, I was like, you know what? My shoulder's going to heal. I'm going to play. I'm going to grind. I'm going to learn. I'm going to grow. And then I'm going to be out of here. I'm playing pro tennis. So I wanted to go to the place where it had the absolute best player.
Right.
Because I wanted to train with her.
Okay.
I wanted to get as good as possible in a 1 year span. That didn't happen. So as I did have a really great freshman year, but I ended up playing all 4 years of college. So I wish that going back, I would have picked a UCLA or picked a school that had other things around it.
I was going to say, it's really interesting hearing somebody choose a college not based off of like, oh, I want to have a great college experience. Like, oh, this is in a beautiful place. Oh, they have a great football team. So, well, like you really were just zeroed in on tennis.
Yeah, I went to one football game the entire time. I was not interested. I was zeroed in on tennis.
I've been to a Clemson football game.
No, they're fun. But it just wasn't my focus. I was just like, it's tennis or nothing, And I was so focused on that. I wanted to go to a small town. I wanted to go to a town that didn't have a lot of distractions. Like Clemson, South Carolina, it's a beautiful place, but the highlight of the week was going to the Walmart,
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot going on.
No.
So I thought that was going to be a good thing. After about a year and a half, I'm like, get me out of here.
You're like going crazy.
I'm like, I need more. I'm from a city. I'm from Toronto. Like I need something else. And I remember coming home every day and just complaining to my family and Frances, like, oh, I need something more. I feel like I'm just flatlining. I'm like, there's nothing more here for me. And one thing about my parents are more chill. They don't like to take as much risk. They're like, it's okay. Just keep figuring it out. But Francis is like, look, if you don't like it, let's make a change. Let's figure it out. He's like very solution oriented. So he was always pushing me.
Very much me. I'm like, we need to find it. Like if anybody is stressed out in my life, I'm like, there has to be a solution. Like, let's figure out the solution. Right. My husband's like, no, I just want to complain and ignore it. I'm like, wait, no, I don't know how to do that.
But that's a perfect dynamic though. Someone that's like, okay, this is the issue. And another person's like, okay, let's fix it.
I'm like, I need to know both your horoscopes.
I'm a Leo. He's an Aquarius.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It should be opposite. Yeah.
Opposites. I'm like, yeah, opposites attract. But it ended up working out because you won the NCAA D1 doubles championship.
Yeah.
So was that at UCLA?
That was at UCLA.
So you were thriving in California.
Thriving, big time.
Great things. When you got to California, were you like, wow, like this is fun. Like this is like what I've been waiting for.
It's interesting because I had been to California 2 times prior. Came as a junior with my coach. He took a couple of players out and we traveled to NorCal, SoCal. And I remember feeling like this place is special. Yeah. That was my first experience. And then my second experience, I came here I think I came here for another tennis tournament. I just remember feeling the same thing. I was just like,
Right.
there's something special about this area.
Mhm. Especially
And
from Toronto.
yeah,
Like, California, like, once people like, I kinda say I'm from Canada because Michigan is right there,
it's
okay?
close enough.
I'm, like, 40 minutes from the border, and I just feel like there's something about California in a way where there's, like, so much opportunity here. The sun's shining, the weather's always perfect, but, like, for you, I'm sure that was, like, coming up and you're like, "Wow, like, this feels good."
Yeah, and I mean, even in social media, you watch TV shows and it's like California, the city of dreams, and you know what
Yes.
I mean? And it's just like, I don't know, I just felt like coming here would be just life-changing, and it
Yeah.
was. So
Mhm.
when I had the opportunity to come here, I just jumped. I was like ready to go. Although I must say, my college coach here at California at UCLA, her name was Stella Sampras, and she has this aura. And you can either be like really, really overwhelmed by it, or you
Yep.
can kind of jump into it. And for me, I loved it. She was someone that changed my life as well. She was always focused on doing the right thing and making sure everything was taken care of and getting good grades and,
Mhm.
doing the right things on court and off court. And I was very focused on tennis, so I wasn't a huge partier or anything like
Right.
that. So we really hit it off, and I had a great assistant coach as well. So I absolutely thrived out here.
I've also coaches can make or break your experience. They can make or break if you end up playing professionally. Coaches hold a lot of power. So to hear that even you coming out here and you're like everything just felt great.
Yeah. I mean, I think sometimes people don't even realize how much power coaches hold over young athletes. I mean, we spend
Man.
probably more time with our coaches than our own parents.
Right.
So if you have negative experiences with a coach, it can really scar you for the rest of your athletic career or just
Mhm.
in life in general.
Right.
So having a good coaching experience is just paramount for, excelling in life in general, I think.
Yeah, totally. I guess that's something I'm like when my daughter goes to a D1 when she's a D1 athlete, it's my brother ended up he swam in college,
Mhm.
which is totally off topic. But like my brother swam in college, he had a really negative experience with a
Mm.
coach, so bad that it started to affect his mental health. I mean, going to practice every day with somebody that you don't like, doesn't like you, he ended up transferring. He's like, wow, that really changed my experience. So, what ended up happening after college?
Yeah, so in tennis, if you win a national championship, you get this wild card to this huge tennis tournament called the US Open, and it's in New York every year.
Famous.
Only if you're an American, though. I was a Canadian. So,
T.
yes, it was like a whole
Wow.
thing. Yeah, so I was super disappointed because there was this whole plan that I was gonna play the US Open and play mixed doubles with Frances. It was gonna be a
Mhm.
whole thing. And they were like, like, not happening. You're Canadian, you don't get the wild card.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of a shift in my trajectory for the sport because I was like, okay, I'm going to play the US Open and it's going to catapult me right
Yep.
to the pros. And then when I figured out that that wasn't an option, I'm like, okay, you got to start from scratch, from
Wow.
futures.
Mhm.
And in tennis, futures are a grind. I mean, you're losing money every week because the prize pot, even if you were to win the entire thing, you're not even breaking even. You're losing money.
Nice.
So it's a financial grind. They're all over the world. So I remember going to, I don't know where was it, in Egypt and Tunisia, which are beautiful places, but you're kind of in the cut and you're at
Yes.
this resort and you have to stay there for like 4 weeks and grind and play and you're by yourself and you can't afford a coach. It's just like this hard grind
Yeah.
and it was tough, but I remember I was playing a couple tournaments and absolutely hating it. I was like, what am I
Like,
doing here?
no, this does not feel good.
Yeah, and it was during COVID. I had to, you know, quarantine for 2 weeks. It was just a bad situation. And I get a call and it was like, "Hey, do you want to be Venus's stunt double for King Richard, this new movie?" And I was like, immediately, yes, get me out of
You're
here.
like, get me out of here, get me on a plane. Like, I'm coming.
Quickly, quickly.
Yes.
And I don't know, I think I'm very religious, so I felt like that was a sign from God,
Yep.
and I wasn't meant to be doing what I was doing at that time. And I got on a plane, left for Los Angeles, and started shooting for that movie. And being around, I mean, Will Smith and Sanaya Sidney, like so many
Yeah.
amazing actors and actresses, and the production, it was this whole thing. I was like, ooh, I kind of like the entertainment side of the sport, you know?
Was that your first introduction into that space?
Yeah. I mean, I'd done some modeling and stuff, so I'd been in front
Yeah.
of a camera, but the movie setting and just being around these mega stars and seeing how they kind of got into character and
Right.
just being around greatness, it really inspired me. And I was like, wait, I love this. I
Yes.
love this. And I love playing. But I think I love this even more.
You're like, this is even better.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Okay, so you had a really great experience. So then where did that take you?
Yeah, I think I just realized that I do love playing, but I also want to dive into the off court media and social media
Right.
and entertainment space of tennis. And I started saying yes to more modeling gigs.
Yep.
I did this one advertisement for Kith and Wilson, and that was like an acting gig as well. And I
I'm
was like,
like,
wait,
Kip and Wilson, like what a
it
collaboration.
was an amazing collaboration, and social media was also taking off. So I was
Mhm.
like, there are more opportunities for me off court as well. Like I should really dive into this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you feel like I mean, crazy that that just so happened. Like, I think that things like that, like it's fate. Like you have,
Yeah.
and to hear how like fulfilling it makes you feel and how much you love it, and like other things that you've even like been able to dabble in, like it truly sounds like a great, like you. I mean, how would you even say that? Like an epiphany. Like, oh,
Which
this
is
is
meant to be.
yes,
Yeah.
meant to be.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I did it. I have cleaned out my closet. I donated it so many pieces of clothing that have just been sitting in my closet. And now I'm looking at my closet like, this seems empty. I should refill it. No, wrong. Insert Newly. Newly is a subscription clothing rental service that's all about helping you have fun and get creative with your style. Renting from Newly allows me to shift my gear in my wardrobe without a completely expensive overhaul. Newly is so great if you're looking to try out new pieces from different clothing brands. If you have some trip coming up and you're like, I really need a winter jacket, but I live in California, they have everything from dresses to coats, jeans, pants, and it's all from your favorite brands. Every month, I rent 6 items from Newly's shared closet of thousands of styles for everything that I have going on: dressy stuff from occasions, trendy going out outfits, cute dresses, like you name it, and I can get it on Newly. And I also love that I'm able to try out trending styles, colors, silhouettes, and then send them back for something new, especially being postpartum and going through all the changes with my body. Even getting pregnant, Newly has a maternity line. So, like I said, you can get 6 styles each month and you choose whatever you want to rent for whatever you have going on. And you get access to thousands of styles from more than 400 brands and brands that you actually love, like Free People, Farm Rio, Hill House, For Love and Lemons, Anthropology. They have inclusive sizing, so up to 5X, and as well as petite and maternity. Who wants to waste money on clothes that you're going to wear for literally a few months? No. Thank you, Newly. They have fast, free shipping and returns and professional cleaning in Newly's state of the art laundry facility. So, no laundry for you to worry about. And also, you get the option to buy it if you love it at a discount. It's fun, it's sustainable, it's flexible, and again, maternity and post-maternity, so important. Newly is a great value at $98 a month for any 6 styles, but right now you can get $28 off your first month of Newly when you sign up using the code Sunday. Just go to NUULY.com, that's Newly with 2 U's, and enter code Sunday and sign up to get $28 off your first month. That's NUULY.com, Newly with 2 U's with code Sunday. Newly subscription clothing rental, change your clothes. In the last 2 years, I have truly dialed in my self care routine. You're like, what's happened in the past 2 years? I became a mom and I realized that self care is very important. It gives me the confidence to take on warm weather activities, to take on nap time, carpool lane, and something really important in my self care routine is Flamingo. Flamingo has shaving, hair removal, and body care products built with you in mind. They are revolutionizing hair removal and women's body care by focusing on what's important: high quality, affordable solutions for places you really want smooth. I have so many products from Flamingo that I love. One of my favorites has to be their waxing strips. You guys, I like to do my waxes at home, and some people might call me crazy, but I would prefer that than going into a salon. And with Flamingo, they make it so easy. I also love their razor so much. Okay, it is so smooth. It leaves my legs feeling smooth. And whenever I bring my feet over to Isaac's feet in his side of the bed, he's always like, "Wow, your legs feel really smooth." And I'm like, "Yeah, thank you, Flamingo." With Flamingo, think high performance and innovative design for every routine, and all at a nice price. They're designed for you and your unique body hair and care needs. Flamingo's razor has a flexible hinge designed to hug every curve of your body and get those hard to reach areas. And the handle is ergonomically designed for women, so it fits comfortably in your hand. Millions of women trust Flamingo to provide a premium body hair and care experience. Again, I am such a huge fan of my Flamingo products, not just the razor, but also the waxing strips. The original razor is great for your everyday shave. The pubic razor is perfectly designed for coarser hair and shaving the hard to reach spots. And their new Moisture Plus razor is the one-step razor that is perfect for women on the go. And aren't we always on the go these days? So keep it smooth and refreshed with Flamingo hair removal products made with your body in mind. Get started with an exclusive offer for our listeners, 25% off your first order at shopflamingo.com/Sunday when you use code Sunday. That's shopflamingo.com/Sunday, code Sunday. I feel like tennis has such an interesting, like, you're always traveling. So when it comes to you being in a relationship with somebody who plays professionally, how do you guys make time for you guys?
Yeah, it's interesting actually. A lot of the times people will ask me, "Oh, well, like you're traveling a lot for him and how does that make you feel?" But I think back to my college days and when I was playing and he was traveling for me.
Yes.
So he was coming to every match that he could. He was, trying to finesse and figure out ways to come and see me. And I just think that returning the favor is just natural.
Right.
I had initially, through college, it was always long distance. So thank God for FaceTime.
Yeah.
If FaceTime hadn't been introduced, I don't know if this would
same.
worked. Yeah.
Yeah. As somebody who also did long distance, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, FaceTime was great. We definitely used that. But after school, I know Frances was really adamant about, me traveling a little bit more. And I initially hated being on the road. I hated traveling. I felt so unproductive. I would go to tournaments and it was like a vacation. And I'm like, okay, this is great once in a while, but I can't do this day in and day out.
Yeah.
I need to do something.
Like you kind of craved normalcy or even like your own, like, what am I doing? Because I just can't just follow you and like, this is fun, vacations, love it. But like, what is out there for me?
Yeah. I mean, I have my own goals and aspirations. And I just felt like post-college, you're figuring yourself out and you need to have some sort of stability to figure out what you want to do and who you want to be in life. It's a very different and difficult transition coming out of college. And it's not easy.
Especially for an athlete, because as an athlete, you are training day in and day out tennis every single day. And then you graduate college and you're like, okay, so do I still want to do tennis? Like, do I still love this? Is this still fulfilling?
It's figuring out your identity.
Yeah.
I knew myself as I am the tennis player and the athlete for so long. And now it was like, okay, Ayan Broomfield, the what? Ayan Broomfield, what else is there? Or what are you going to do next, And you need to sit down in a place and start building and settling in roots into that place. And I was like, okay, I'm in LA. Let me start building here. So him asking me to come on the road, I was like, hold on. Like, I'm just
He's like, hold on.
like, give me a second.
I need to water my little plant.
Let me water.
And, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let me water my grass and start figuring it out. And yeah, I pushed it off for a while. And at the moment, he wasn't doing as well as he wanted to do. And he's like, look, I need to have some sort of fun. And, we are like best friends. He's like, just come out for a couple times. So there's this tournament in London. It's called Wimbledon. It's like the biggest tournament in tennis.
Heard of it,
yep. And he was like, yeah, just come out to Wimbledon and I need some company and we'll have a good time. So I went out and yeah, it was fun. One thing about me when I am with Frances, I'm like, okay, what can I do? What can I do? And I'm like, okay, breakfast in the morning. I'm very regimented.
So are you like type A?
Oh my gosh.
Okay. I'm type B. I'm very type B.
Okay. How does that work for you?
Well, my husband's type A. So passenger princess. Yeah. In life and in the car.
I love that. I love a passenger princess moment. Yeah. But I think just around the house and stuff, I'm very type A. And I love, to a fault, I think I'm a little bit superstitious, but like every morning, like the breakfast is made at the same time. It's the same breakfast. It's bad.
Wow.
It's bad.
And are you superstitious both for you and him?
Yes.
Oh God.
It's bad.
I'm like, are you okay?
No. No. I mean, it's to the point where I will literally I remember at Wimbledon, that first tournament, I was like, okay, we're just have a routine because I like routine. So I'm like, okay, if we get a routine, we will be successful. That's my thing. Right. So the first couple days, I was making breakfast and there was a specific type of apple juice and I would go to the grocery store and get the apple juice up the street. There was one day he was winning. He was killing.
This fucking apple juice.
They didn't have the apple juice. It was like the third round. It was like a different brand. And I was like, okay, it's fine. It's another brand. I'm like, no, he needs a specific type of apple juice. I traveled at 6:30 in the morning. I didn't know where I was. Okay, this is my first time in this Wimbledon village. I traveled like 40 minutes to get this apple juice because I had to go to another location, come back with the apple juice. He didn't know. I had to leave early.
So you were super superstitious.
I'm bad. I'm really bad.
Well, I mean, did he keep winning?
He kept winning. He kept winning.
Apple juice.
I'm telling you, it was the apple juice. It probably had nothing to do with the apple juice, but I had to do that for my own personal sanity. And that happened. So I don't know. He had like the best run at Wimbledon that he had ever had. And again, it probably had nothing to do with me, to be honest.
Or the apple juice.
But in my head, I'm like, the apple juice did it. But yeah, no. And then his coach was like, look, he seemed very calm this week. He seemed very, like he was really enjoying it again.
Yeah.
Please consider coming to some more events.
His coach was like, right, really good.
Like we had a good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I came again, a couple different events, and then I went to the Open. And then he had a crazy run at the Open. He made like the semifinals. He was like the first African-American male to make it to that round since Arthur Ashe in 19, I have the date.
Yeah.
It was a while ago though.
In 19 something. Okay, that's all that matters.
Yeah. And it was a long time, and it was just an amazing moment. And at that point I was like, okay, I'm in this, I'm invested I'm going to full send it.
Right.
So I started traveling a lot, and the results were great, and we were having fun. And yeah, I traveled for about a year with Francis, just kind of supporting him and figuring out ways to make his life easier, and just to, try and get him to a place where he was fulfilling some of his goals. And that felt great for me. I'm just seeing him happy, and seeing him happy is like the best thing ever. You always seeing your significant other, like,
there's something about it and when I was following my husband to wherever he was playing, so many people are like, oh, how do you feel like following your significant other? Like, isn't that so boring, or isn't that so draining? And I'm like, well, one, I do have my own shit going on. Right. Like, I think that's very important. But two, it is fulfilling to see the person that you love being like spending time with you and being happy because of you, and watching them fulfill such great things.
Yeah, I mean, I watch him on court, and honestly, it brings me to tears sometimes because I'm just like, I know how far you've come. I've seen your progress. I mean, we've been together 10 years, but even before that, you really get to know somebody and what they've been through and their trials and tribulations, and to see you succeed and do this at the highest level, it makes me emotional sometimes because you've seen it. You've seen the progress.
Yes.
Yeah, and after that year, I mean, it was great, but I must say, I was like, okay, like,
craving.
I kind of miss working. I kind of miss having, waking up and feeling stressed. Like, you kind of like, it's just, I don't know how to explain it, but you miss that anxiety or emotion or that
drive.
Yeah. And I started to feel that, and I'm like, yeah.
Well, then where did that take you?
Yeah. So I was like, you know what? At this stage, there's no way with my travel schedule that I could do a 9 to 5. There's no way that I could commit myself to that. I still want to be there for him and support him, but how do I find a way to also create my own income and create my own, fulfill my own goals?
Identity and whatever. What do I have going on?
Exactly. So I figured, social media took a huge, it's the trajectory of social media went like this. And there were a lot of times where people would reach out to me and say, do you want to do this? Or we'll, pay you to wear this outfit and just create content in it. And I'm like,
yeah, that's cute.
Right.
I'll wear that.
Right. And initially I was saying no, because I'm like, no, I need to focus on the task at hand. I don't want to be waking up in the morning and having to film content, because I want to make sure I'm here for Francis. And if he needs something, I want to be able to like run out and get the apple juice,
6 a.m. There we go.
Right. And I also had this really, really interesting conversation with Roger Federer, and he's like the GOAT of tennis. And he was telling me about how important his wife Mirka was. And Mirka actually quit tennis to support him and be his manager, which is like crazy. Like I admire her so much for that.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about how he wouldn't be where he was or where he is right now without her. And that really touched me. And so that's where I was mentally. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be the Mirka.
Like, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do it. I couldn't full send it that way. I felt like I still had more to give. And I'm also traveling around, and I realized, yeah, I wanted to start working. I wanted to do this content creation. I wanted to say yes to more opportunities.
Yeah.
And I also saw this opportunity to use my platform for good. And that's when I also started getting into like philanthropy and started giving back a little bit more and trying to figure out ways to merge content creation and philanthropy and the content and Frances and fashion and beauty and all the things. And I'm like, that's me. You know, that's who I am as a person. If I can give that to other people, I'm going to do it.
Then you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And you've done some incredible things in the space of tennis.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So basically right now I have two things going on. I have Ayan Broomfield, the Ayan Broomfield Foundation, and then Ayan's Aces. And that kind of started last January when I launched the Ayan Broomfield Foundation. My tennis, you know, background is basically that my parents really thought that it makes me emotional to think about because they really sacrificed a lot for me. They put all of their finances into furthering my sister and I's education and tennis career. And tennis is such an expensive sport. It is so expensive. It's not as if you can kind of just go, you know, with basketball. You can get a basketball and go to a, you know, a rim. What is it called? A rim?
Basket?
An out. Something. Yeah, and just go and shoot and take free throws and practice over and over and over. That doesn't cost much, you know. With tennis, you have to have a membership. You have to have the equipment. You have to have someone to play against. It's very expensive. It's a country club sport.
It is.
And in Canada, we have 6 months of the winter. So you really need to be a part of a club or else you won't be able to play for 6 months out of the year. So they had to invest a lot of money into our tennis, which didn't leave us with that much outside of the sport. And they wanted to make sure our education was good. So we were in private school and just all of our finances went to those two things. And I just realized that we had a lot of help along our tennis career. And I wanted to be able to give that back now that tennis has given me so much. And I've been able to gain this platform and gain this position in my life.
Totally.
So I was traveling a lot and realizing, hey, I can merge the travel, the content, and the tennis together. And so the Ayan Broomfield Foundation basically focuses on bringing people that may not have access to the sport because of their financial situation or their background. And I try and put on activations. I try and use the businesses that are working with me for content creation, and I donate a lot. Last year, there was this Miami Open tournament. I worked with the Lotus House. It was a women's shelter in downtown Miami, and I had a brand in Beauty Project. They were sponsoring me, and I was like, hey, can you also sponsor this event? And they were able to donate hundreds and hundreds of, you know, different women needs, women products, I mean. So like sunscreens and facial washes and all these different things. And we had an activation. We played tennis. It was an amazing experience. I was able to learn about so many different women's stories. And I've been doing those activations. So that's kind of Ayan Broomfield Foundation. And then recently we started the Ayan's Aces. And that's focusing on bringing more women of color to tennis tournaments. I noticed that there is a big representation of women on court, of women of color, but not so much off court. I'll be in the stands and not really see anyone that looks like me.
Totally.
So Miami this year, we worked with a bunch of different brands and Black Tennis Connect helped me facilitate, but we were able to bring over 100 women of color to the tournament through tickets and activations and hosting suites. And it was just amazing. And I just want to continue doing that. I think it's it feels great for me. And I feel like it's really important for the game and the sport of tennis.
Yeah. So I feel like I don't want to speak for you, but it's like I've found something in tennis that is still so fulfilling that like, it isn't necessarily Frances. It's not necessarily like my professional career, but it's something that goes above and beyond. And it's like for the greater good of tennis.
It wakes me up in the morning. I wake up in the morning and I'm like typing in my notes. I'm like, how can we make this bigger? What can I do? What more can I do? And that is something that I needed. I needed that push. Something that I wanted to do and wake up in the morning early to be able to think about how can I make, the tennis world more diverse. And it's so fulfilling for me.
Wow. Honestly, truly incredible. Do you have anything anything coming up that you have planned or any ideas or like dreams you want to do?
Yeah, so I'm trying to activate at most of the bigger tournaments. It's a little bit tough because not every tournament, it's also new. So not every tournament is as willing as Miami Open was to help us out. But that's my goal. I want to do it at most tournaments. And my big project is going to be for the Washington City Open. I am trying to do like a week-long project where I have activations for young kids, giveaways. I want to host suites for women of all age groups. I just want to do as much as possible. But City Open, I'm really hoping to activate in a big way.
Okay. And competitively, what would you say has been like your biggest, like, wow, like that was like a monumental moment in my tennis, whether that be like current or in college? Like, what was like a defining moment for you?
In my tennis career.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Or even, I mean, even now, like you talking about like philanthropy, like what has been like, wow, like I love that moment. I think back at that moment and I'm like, wow, that has changed me.
It's actually a moment that now that you asked that question, is probably when I was younger. My sister was a lot better than I was. And so I was just playing because I wanted to be like my sister. I wasn't great when I was super young. I want to say around 12 or 13. So I wasn't ranked as high as I would like to be. And there was this tournament where you played singles and doubles. It was like a national level tournament. And there was I think it was an odd number of girls. So at that time, it was like everyone was matching up. In doubles, it's two people playing together.
Okay. I'm actually glad that you clarified that because I'm like, I'm like, what tournament? Okay.
Yeah. So there's singles and doubles. Singles is 1v1 and then doubles is 2v2.
Okay.
So you need a partner.
Yeah.
And in juniors, you kind of just like say, hey, Susie, do you want to be my
Do
partner?
You want to play today?
Right, literally. And it's based on how good you are in juniors. So yeah, I was about 12, 13, 14, I don't remember. I was young. And I remember getting an invite to this tournament, and I was the odd person out because no one wanted to play with me. Yeah.
No
one wanted to play with me. Everyone had already matched up because I was like, just got in. You know what I mean? So everyone's matching up at the top. And I remember going home and telling my mom, I was in tears. I was like, no one wants to play doubles with me. This sucks. And my mom is a very rational person. She's just like kind of calls it how it is. And she said, Ayan, if you want to have doubles partners, you need to get better. Point blank.
Oh my God.
No, she told me that. She was like, you need to work harder and get better, and then anyone will want to play with you. And I remember in that moment, I was like, wow, that was tough love. Really tough love. She's like, you need to get your ranking up because
I was like, Mom?
No, but this is it. She's like, the best want to play with the best. Everyone wants to win. That's the way the world works. And that was just such a shift in my head because I was like, whoa, this is real world. Like, that's the situation. I remember that made me work so hard. I was like waking up in the morning, practicing. I was telling my dad, okay, let's go and do this. Can we practice more? Can we, work harder? And it got to a point where then I was like number 2 in all of Canada because I was just working my butt off. And I always had a doubles partner. I always had
crazy how that works.
You know, it's funny. And I just remember that was just a big shift in my life because I just realized like you need to put yourself in positions to thrive. You can't look for handouts. You can't look for people to like want to do it because you're nice and you're fun. It's like, no, you need to try and be the best that you can be and then work towards that all the time with everything that you're doing. So that was something that came from tennis that I take in the rest of my life because I'm always just like, be the best person and opportunities will come to you.
Yeah.
Be the best at anything that you're doing or at least try, work hard to do that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Are you a tough love type of person? Like, do you give tough love and you receive it well?
Yeah.
So with Frances, do you like to give him tough love?
Yeah, it's interesting because that's how I'm wired.
Yeah.
And I was always very tough on myself as a player.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just because of my upbringing that we were just always kind of like a tough love. My dad was like the softie. My dad was like, oh, you tried your best. Like my mom's like, no, like, let's get
your
going.
Your best isn't good enough.
Right? No, she was just more like, hey, like this is just the world and the way the world works. And like, you have to work hard in life. And that's just the reality. It's not about, and that's why she put us in a sport that wasn't about how we looked. It wasn't like how we looked or how we had to dress. It was like, you either win or you lose.
Right.
You can work harder than another person. It's not just about how much money you have or how you look or how you present yourself. It's like you can just grind and get better and be number 1 because you worked that hard,
Right.
And yeah, so with Frances, I think I had to really learn how to I had to learn how to support in a different way because it's not me on court. Obviously, he's going through his own things. It's a very emotional sport. So you have to learn how to just support and be there and sometimes just be a soundboard and not always, say, okay, how do we get better? It's just like, hey,
Yeah.
like you did your best and that's okay today, and that's
Mhm.
great. You're in a great position and you've done so much in this sport and just be there and enjoy the moment.
I feel like on social media, I heard of a couple, and he was like, the best way I can support my wife is, do you need somebody to vent to, or do you need a solution?
Exactly.
And I love that because I'm like, sometimes I do just want to vent, and
Yeah.
I don't think that there is a solution, or I'll figure out the solution. Or sometimes I'm like, no, I need you to answer. Like, this is not a rhetorical question. Like, you need to give me like yes or no, or like
Yeah.
tell me what to do.
Yeah. I think that's actually a really, really great way of figuring out what a person needs from you
Mhm.
and in different ways. Yeah. I'm like, what do you need from me? What
Mhm.
what is it that you need from me? And how can I
Is it
be
apple juice?
the special apple juice?
Right?
Yeah. And I mean, it's just like, what can I provide you in this moment? What do you need
Yeah.
from me in this moment? And how can I best support you and be there for you? Because
Mhm.
that's what you need to do for the person that you love, you know?
Mhm. If you're anything like my husband and this year you are grinding to start a business, run a business more efficiently, insert open phone. If you're running a business, you know that every time you miss a call, you're leaving money on the table. When every customer conversation matters, you need a phone system that keeps up and helps you stay connected. And that's why you need open phone. Open phone is the number one business phone system that streamlines and scales your customer communications. So it works through an app on your phone or computer, so you don't have to carry two phones or use a landline. Nobody wants to do either one of those. With Open Phone, your team can share one number and collaborate on customer calls and texts like a shared inbox, kind of. And that way, any teammate can pick up right where the last person left off, keeping response times faster than ever. Plus, they have AI powered call transcripts and summaries, so you'll be able to automate follow ups, ensuring that you never miss a customer interaction ever again. So, whether you're one person operation drowning in calls and texts you have, or a large team that needs a better collaboration tool, Open Phone is such a no brainer. And that's why over 50,000 businesses trust Open Phone to manage their businesses' calls and texts. This is such a game changer when it comes to customer service. And I've mentioned before, but my husband is so keen on good customer service. I just feel like it helps you go above and beyond than the product or service, whatever you're offering. It makes every customer feel like they're important, and Open Phone plays a huge part in that. Open Phone is offering my listeners 20% off your first 6 months at openphone.com/Sunday. That's openphone.com/Sunday. And if you have existing numbers with another service, Open Phone will port them over at no extra charge. Open Phone, no missed calls, no missed customers. Do any of us have time these days? Because I know I don't. And I would love to go to a salon and get my hair blown out and feel good and confident. Or I can use the Drybar Blowout Defense Collection and have a blowout at home that lasts days. The all new Drybar Blowout Defense Collection is game changing hair products that prep for a gorgeous blowout that lasts up to 96 hours. If anybody knows about a blowout, Drybar knows how to do it right, and they help you create your own blowout at home. It's nearly impossible, but with this new Drybar Blowout Defense Collection, it is so good. In the collection, they have the Strengthen and Extend Blowout Accelerator Spray, and this is such a game changer. It is absolutely one of my new favorites. It cuts blow dry time by 32% while locking in styles. And it's a total game changer when you're in a rush because who doesn't want to like fasten up the blow drying process? But not only does it speed things up, it also detangles and protects your hair from heat. So you're styling smarter and not harder. The Blowout Defense Strengthen and Extend shampoo is one of those products that actually works. It hydrates, detangles, and strengthens my hair with every wash, and also repairs damage with the Hydrobond peptide. It leaves your blowout lasting way longer, up to 96 hours, and my hair also feels healthier. And then last but not least, the Strengthen and Extend conditioner hydrates and detangles like a dream, and it leaves your hair so soft, minimizing breakage. And to summarize, all these products also smell so dang good. I don't know about you guys, but I love a hair care routine that has your hair sticking to the style you want, but also speeding things up so you can have extra time to focus on other things like having a quiet cup of coffee or running around trying to find your child's other sock. Okay. So if you guys are interested, use the Blowout Defense shampoo, conditioner, and blowout accelerator spray with your favorite dry bar tool, and you have a blowout that lasts up to 96 hours and all from the comfort of your home. It's not get ready with me, it's stay ready with me. Get a gorgeous blowout that lasts now and shop Drybar's Blowout Defense products at drybar.com. As we head into the playoffs, it's safe to assume that there will be a few calls made by the refs that will be hard to accept. But you know what isn't hard to accept? Discover. Believe it or not, Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard that right, 99%. So make a good call for your wallet and get Discover. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report, learn more at discover.com/credit card. It sounds like you've kind of like you've gone with your intuition. Like you've felt that at the time, like traveling with Frances full time was what was right, and you've found a way to like merge. Like what do I want to do? How do I feel about this? When it comes to traveling for these tournaments, I know nothing. So like Francis, for example, if he is going and playing
Wimbledon. Yeah.
I don't know why I want to say Wimbledon. Okay. When he's going out there, is he like, is somebody scheduling his flight? Is somebody scheduling your flight? Is it just like, no, you book your own flight? Do they pay for these players to go out? Are they sponsored by companies? Like, how does all of that work?
That's a great question.
Like, I asked a lot of questions.
No. It's a great question because I don't think a lot of people understand the intricacies of the sport,
right,
and why it's so difficult. So when you play, and I don't know 100%, but when you're in football or basketball, you sign a contract. You have a coach assigned to you. You have a team assigned to you. You have recovery staff, physiotherapies, massage therapists, all the things. They cover your travel, your hotel, all the things. In tennis, you are completely in charge of your whole schedule and your team.
Wow.
And you're paying for them. So you turn pro and there's no like signing bonus or contract.
Yeah.
You have to play every single week to earn your money, unless other than endorsements. But not everyone's getting endorsements. I would say like only the top 10 to 15 people are getting big endorsements. So you are playing week after week for your paycheck.
Wow.
You have to pay for your coach, which could be anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 a year, plus bonuses.
Are they traveling with you?
Yes.
Okay. So then you have to pay for their travel.
All their travel, all their lodging, all of their food, everything. You're paying for a physiotherapist. A lot of people that are not, top 10, 15, 20 can't afford to. So they try and use whatever they can. Maybe the tournament will provide one, but you have to, it's just not very accessible. Yeah, I mean, you're paying for everything. You play every single week. You pay for your hotel, your coach's hotel. You pay for your plane ticket, your coach's plane ticket. You pay for everyone's food. It's a lot.
Wow.
So a lot of the times you see them winning these big paychecks for their tournament, but sometimes they're just breaking even because of all of the additional costs that are coming out of their own pocket. On top of that, they really only have 1 month of an off season. They play from January to the end of November.
So Christmas.
Basically. And then the tour starts again. You have to leave literally Christmas Day to go to Australia. And that's where the tour starts every single year.
Wow.
So you have like 3 weeks off. Yeah.
So then financially, it's hard
Brutal.
to make a ton of money. So where is the benefit in that? That might sound harsh.
No,
like
it's the
obviously
truth.
there's like heart in the sport, but
Right.
it sounds like a lot.
It's brutal because if again, you really want to get your ranking up, because if your ranking isn't high enough, you're not making that much money.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things. I mean, they're making a lot more than the average person. I'm not going to say that it's not a privileged life. It's a beautiful life.
Right.
They're making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Understood. But based on the day in and day out strain that they're putting on their bodies, the time they're spending away from home, all these different things, it's difficult. It's difficult compared to other sports, I would say.
I also like to when I have complained in the past about like, oh, my husband's on practice squad. It's like, yeah, it's still great money.
That's the thing.
But you have to look at some of these professional athletes' careers as, yeah, but where they have no experience in the job market. They haven't, I mean, at what age, if you're the age 30, you don't have any experience in a normal 9 to 5 career. Like you're coming out of a professional sport 10 steps behind everybody else. And yeah, you made great money, but that money is not going to last you the rest of your life. So while, yeah, it sounds great and like, oh yeah, like you're still making six figures on practice squad in the NFL, that's not going to, in 2 years, that's not going to matter.
Well, on top of that, a lot of tennis players they forego college. So they don't even have their college degree to fall back on.
Tragic, because for you had your college paid for by tennis.
Exactly.
Are you really grateful to your parents that they were like, I mean, you had an injury, but are you kind of grateful that they like nudged you towards that college degree?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful that they did. Looking back, it's such a risk to turn pro without that college experience. It's such a risk. And for Francis, it was the best decision he made because look at where it took him. But for a lot of people, it's stressful because you're playing day in and day out for your paycheck, and it's a lot.
And you're hoping your body just kind of holds up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think also now it's changed a lot because there are so many players that are playing college tennis and then going on and doing amazing things in the professional league. And I think it's changed the dynamic or the philosophy of going to school. And then also you have NIL now. So you can also make money in college. So you're setting yourself up for turning pro or post college, which I think is great. They should get paid for what they're doing in college.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my husband talks all the time that being a college athlete is a job.
Absolutely.
It is a full-time job. And he did not get any of the benefits of NIL.
Right.
And so when he graduated, he literally had not a dollar to his name. And then you get your signing bonus and you're like, wow, okay, I can finally, like, to train even for the NFL, you have no money. You hope that an agent's gonna pay your way until you make it, maybe. But what if you don't make it? And so it's just kind of like so much risk, and could be a lot of reward, but there is so much risk, especially sports. You're relying on your body.
Yeah.
So had you not gone to college and got that college degree, even to fall back on, like your body can give out at any point, and you just don't know.
There's no backup plan. There's no backup plan. It's when you think about it, it's actually it's crazy. It's crazy that we as tennis players have to make that decision that early in our lives. I mean, we're like, a lot of people are turning pro at like 16, 17. You don't even know what you want to do. You don't know.
Oh my God, I don't like the person I was when I was 16.
You're like, I don't know her.
No, literally, I'm like, no, I'm not a fan of her. Yeah, that's so crazy to make such a huge decision so young. I can't even think that with like a college degree. I'm like, when I'm 18, I'm going pre-med. Why?
For what?
Do you think that social media has a positive impact on like the financial aspect of tennis? Do you think it can give somebody the opportunity to make money off the court?
Absolutely. I think that now you can be an athlete, but you can also be a content creator.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of athletes are diving into that because it's two different revenue streams. You can go and kill it on the court and you can kill it off court now. Mm-hmm. And you can get sponsorships just based on your following, which is crazy. I mean, you don't even have to be the best tennis player or the best athlete. You can just have, a good social media presence and get, influencer or social media deals, which I think is great because it's an additional way to earn income. And I honestly think that's a better backup plan than the sport itself because you can create content until you're,
Yes.
Yeah.
until
in the grave, like dead and gone. Like you can like keep going, So I think it's a great way to have a backup source of making money. And I think every athlete should be focused on that.
It's the one thing, it's like the career that you can do that won't take away from time you're putting into your sport. In fact, like you can do it while playing your sport. Like, hey, come and practice with me today. Hey, let's travel to Wimbledon. Like, hey, this is what my lodging looks like. And it also provides such an insight to people who might be curious about the sport or have never even thought about it. And they're like, oh, wow, this is all like just from my phone. And I get to watch this from the person themselves.
Well, I think it's interesting because there's two different types of following that would be interested in that kind of content. I think you have people that are on the outside just like, oh, this is cool, interesting to see. But there's also like aspiring tennis players that are interested in seeing these professional players' lives. Like if I was younger and Serena Williams had, a TikTok account and was like, okay, this is what I do. I wake up in the morning at 6 a.m.
This is what I eat for breakfast. You're like, I need that breakfast.
Mom, immediately.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to the supermarket. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's just like, it's an interesting way to feel like you know these people or you know these celebrities and you know these athletes. And I think it's an incredible way to connect with, you know, your audience or your following or your fans. And I think that every single athlete should focus on social media because it's really, really interesting to see what you're doing at these events and these tournaments.
How into social media is Francis?
He is into basketball social media.
Interesting.
He's on basketball.
So he's more of like a consumer.
He is a basketball consumer. Like so I wouldn't even say a consumer of just, I don't know. He just loves like inspirational quotes and basketball reels. He like saves basketball reels to watch over and over again.
No, I'm dead. Is he just sending you basketball TikToks all throughout the day?
All the time. All the time. Or he'll send me these inspirational quotes. Like he loves these, you know, when they play like that really subtle like music in the background and they're like talking really, like he loves that. He loves for that.
Oh, he's like a motivational, which I feel like is great because then like tough love, I feel like kind of goes in with that, but because it can be motivational if you make it that way.
Yeah.
And like you guys are like a power couple in tennis.
Yeah.
Would you say tennis is, because you've described it as like a smaller community, would you say it's a big family that like everybody kind of knows everybody, or is it more like it's just you in the sport?
I think the older that we get, it's more about us in the sport. I think when you're younger, there's like the junior circuit and everyone, I mean, those are your friends.
Yeah.
A lot of us, like did school online. So I didn't go to a school. I didn't really go to high school.
You guys were like all in tennis.
Full send. Like I was homeschooled online.
Do you think that to play professionally or at like a top level of a sport, that's kind of necessary?
Yes. There's so much travel. You have to spend so many hours practicing. It's like I started off in school. I was in like a hybrid athlete actor class school. I actually went to the same school as Drake. Yeah.
Okay. Subtle flex.
Yeah, in Toronto. And like it was like the school where if you were pursuing acting or you're pursuing music or athletics and it was like half day. You'd go from 8:30 to 12 and then you went for the rest of the day and practiced. And I was doing that and even that was difficult for me to keep up with the schoolwork because I was just like, it was just too much. The travel, getting back, missing classes. It was a lot.
Yeah.
So my parents were like, okay, like let's just do online, let's do homeschooling, and pulled me out of school and I was just doing it on the road. So my friends, the people that I was interacting with were all on the tennis tour. And it was weird because they're your competitors. You might play them one week, but they're also your BFFs that you're going to dinner with. So it was just like a weird dynamic, but that's why I felt like it was a very close-knit, tight community. But as you grow up, I mean, you start to have other friends outside of the sport. You can afford now to have your own place and your own, family come and visit you. You have girlfriends, you have boyfriends, you start creating your own life. So I think everyone kind of separates a little bit. But I think there are people that, have good relationships on tour. It's just based on if your values and your hobbies kind of align.
So you and Francis are now like your own little family. Yeah. Do you hope to have like a bigger family one day?
Sorry. That's actually really crazy to think about. I'm not gonna lie. I think right now,
which is crazy because you guys have been together for 10 years, over 10 years. Yeah.
My thing is I feel like the past couple of years I've been really living.
Yeah.
I think for so long I was so focused and entwined in my sport. And I was just like, tennis. I didn't experience things. And like even going on trips, not just for sport, like everyone's always like, oh, you travel so much. And it's like, yes, but I travel and I know where the hotel was and I know where the tennis courts were.
Yeah.
I want to experience more of life before I do that because I also want to be able to give 110% of myself to my future child or, my family, my husband, that kind of thing. Right now, we are living.
You're like, we're still in the living part.
We're living. We're having so much fun. We're enjoying each other's company. We're enjoying, having our work be our only stress and fulfilling that. And I think that's just the goal right now is just to fulfill as much of our own personal goals and shared goals. And then just focus on that right now for sure.
Yeah. You're like, that was a loaded question. It is so interesting. And I disagree that there's not a perfect time to have kids.
Okay.
I do believe that there is a perfect time to have kids.
Okay.
And I think that it is so individual. I mean, not everything is going to be perfect,
Right.
but I think I got to a point where I was so fulfilled in my career. I was so fulfilled in how much I had traveled. I was so fulfilled in so many different aspects of my life, but there was something at that point that I realized was missing, and that's when
Okay.
I was like, I'm ready to I'm ready to be a mom. I'm ready to have a child, and now I'm like, okay, this feels good. But now it's like when I decide to have the second child, it's like right now I can travel. Right now I can still focus on my career. Right now I can do all these things, and you being in your tennis career, like you have to have drive,
Right.
because nobody is going to be like, you're not going to have somebody in the background like, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. Like being a professional athlete and being in this space that you're currently in so many different avenues with acting and modeling and also Frances, it's like you have to have that drive yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you felt that way where you were like, okay, I'm ready now.
I also have to say though, we financially got a jump start.
Okay.
So I always have to acknowledge that,
There's
because
that.
nobody at the age of 22 is signing an NFL contract and having $1 million for their first salary.
That's true.
So it's like, maybe I'm just the outlier where I'm like, yeah, there's a perfect time, because everything else was so set up.
Look, I think having a child in general is such a blessing. It's a blessing
Right.
to bring a child into this world. I do think that you can prepare as best as possible for that. And I guess maybe that's where like the perfect time kind of comes in. And if you have, and I think there's a privilege in being able to wait. And there's a privilege in being able to live your life and do all these things. And I understand that. I understand that in my situation right now, it is a privileged situation to say, okay, like I'm going to wait until I have this much in my bank account and we have this home and this and this and this. And I understand that, but that's my situation.
Wait, doesn't everybody want that though?
Yeah. And I think, sometimes you have to just be realistic with your situation and realistic with where you are in life. And if you have that privilege to be able to plan out your next steps, then do it, and if not, again, it's a blessing regardless. So yeah, I think right now I'm just like,
you guys are enjoying life.
Let's enjoy life.
What's next for you and Frances and you individually in your career? I mean, you're doing so many different things. You have your hand in so many different pieces. So what's next for you? Yeah,
I always tell everyone that I've been in my year of yes. I have been saying yes to every single opportunity.
Love that.
And that's the goal, I think, for myself right now, is just to keep saying yes to these opportunities and see where life goes. And I understand that that's, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be able to say that I'm just trying everything.
Blessed, but I also feel like you've worked your ass off to get to where you're at now.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
There's that too.
I think sometimes when you're working, it's hard to look back and be like, wow, I'm in this position. I mean, obviously I think there's a little bit of luck when it comes to being an athlete and even in the current positions that we're both in. But I do think that like it takes a lot of hard work.
Well, I think it goes back to what my mom said when I was younger. It's like, be the best in each field that you kind of go into and see what happens. Like I tried to get to the highest level possible for myself in tennis. Certain things came from that. Yeah. And when I had that opportunity, I'm trying to do that at best of my capability, and something else, like doors will open for you. Yeah. If you, bring like, I don't know how to say this, but like if you present yourself in the best possible way every single time you walk into a room, you never know what can happen for you.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So do you have anything that you're like, oh, that is something that like I'm passionate about, that's what I want to put my energy towards?
Yeah. I mean, obviously I'm really, really trying to get my foundation and Ayan's Aces off like the ground and really make that into something bigger. But I also last week did this like interview host for the WNBA draft. And I thought it was so cool.
I love that.
Sports broadcasting and all that kind of stuff. I learned so much about the athletes and I was like chit-chatting with them. And I'm sure you understood this when you started podcasting. And it's like hearing and learning about someone's story and storytelling and just learning about new things. I think it's really incredible. And I remember sitting there at the draft and I was looking over to my right and Taylor Rooks was there. Mm-hmm. And I just remembered, I know the draft was going on, but I was also like watching her and studying her and how she was engaging with her interviewee. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, this could be kind of cool. And I love sports. I love women's sports. So I was like, maybe this would be something that I could also like dip my foot in, you know?
I could totally see you in that space.
Wow, thank you.
So I highly recommend seeing where that takes you because I think you would do really incredible things.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, before we end every episode, I always do a rapid fire question, this or that kind of thing.
Let's do it.
Tennis whites or colorful outfits?
Colorful outfits. Always. I feel like tennis whites are like basic.
You're like, boring.
Yeah.
Vintage jerseys or modern jerseys?
Vintage always.
Does that extend to tennis?
You know what? I wish the tennis players had jerseys. I actually got like a custom jersey made for Francis at the Open, and I absolutely loved it. I had like his baby pictures on it too. I was like,
wait. I want to
cute.
see that.
Yeah.
Tennis skirt or tennis dress?
Skirt.
Okay. Wimbledon or US Open?
US Open.
Playing singles or doubles?
Doubles always.
Line calling, line judges or AI technology?
I think that the AI technology is more accurate, but I think it takes away from the essence of the sport. I think like historically having the line judges and like if there's an error, there's like a drama or like just like, I don't know. I wish they were back.
Man, literally my producer wrote, FYI, Allie, Wimbledon is replacing human line judges with technology that's going to automatically call when a ball is out, limiting the possibility of human error. I kind of like human error.
You have to have a little human error. Like think about like football and basketball. It's the human eye. Like sometimes there's an error and that's like the essence of the sport. Like there's going to be a mistake.
Yes. I kind of love when it happens in football too. I mean, so some people, if you're on the like opposite side, you don't love it.
Yeah.
But I think that it adds to the sport. Oh my gosh.
Like
that's
the emotion
crazy.
of it. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what this is. Federer or Nadal?
Federer. Okay, so Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
They're like two of the top tennis players. They're like two of the GOATs.
I know people listening are agreeing with me, okay? Don't make fun of me. And then obviously you're going to answer tennis or pickleball?
Tennis.
Do you play pickleball?
You know what? A lot of people crap on pickleball a lot. I think it's a fun sport. I think it's a sport that it's easy to get good at, hard to be great at.
Yeah.
But you can play with any age group. I mean, I was playing with like older women and I was grinding out there sweating and and it's just like you can play with little kids and they will like beat you badly. So it's fun to just have a sport where anyone can play and it's easy on the body and it's less court to cover. So I think it's great and it gets people on court. It's a good exercise.
Okay. Love that. I'm like, I am a pickleball player.
I love it.
I played twice.
I'm an avid pickleball player.
Okay, where can the people find you?
Instagram, Ayan.Broomfield. What else do I have? TikTok, Ayan.Broomfield. I think all of my @s. YouTube. Oh my gosh. Check out my YouTube. Oh my gosh.
Ooh, fun.
I've just gotten into YouTube. I think it's so fun.
No, I'm a YouTube baby.
Okay.
Like I have a YouTube video when I'm getting ready, when I'm sitting down laying in bed at night. I love YouTube.
It's so much fun.
Okay, yeah. Okay, check out her YouTube because I know I will. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next episode.